All right, so I gave you what not to do that are very common mistakes, but let me now tell you how to actually hook this man. All right, how to make it work. Now, again, I was going to say it at the end, but I'm going to say it now. You know, I do these videos using these titles because this is what people are looking for. This is what, through research, we know will draw the audience in. And it's not that I'm trying to like manipulate y'all with the title, but I want you to always remember that if I say something like hook him, get him, make him fall in love with you, whatever, I'm really gonna speak always from a genuine place, not from a tips and tricks that are manipulative and game playing. Because what happens is, yes, I can give you some psychological things that can really reel a man in, but you can end up with the man that that's not really best for you. You can end up with what you thought was going to be a dream situation. It turns into your worst nightmare. So I want to make sure that you are able to embrace and reel in what is truly best for you. And some of you may say, well, if it's really best for you, or if it's really truly for you, why do we have to do anything? There is always a role that we play. We have to be mindful of how we nurture situations, how we cultivate certain environments, how we're pouring into it to make sure we see success. Because if we don't do our part, yes, it can get derailed. So this is really about applying it for the right guy, but applying this in general, what I'm about to list for you, is going to help you see much easier who is right and who is wrong. These things not only hook in the right guy, they expose the wrong one. And that's the beautiful thing about using genuine approaches that are built out of truth and built out of who you really are, not some game and who you got to act like just to make him want you. Forget all that. All right. But anyways, let's continue. So the first thing to do to get him hooked in the early stages of dating is to be genuine. All right. Now, what I mean by being genuine, it's a combination of being yourself. But so let's start with that. One, being yourself simply because, listen, again, if you got him hooked being something you're not, you can't sustain that. So there's no purpose. There's no point of it. All right. It's going to blow up in your face anyway. And I can't tell you how many women I have coached, either in relationships, married or divorced, who they can tell you they reached a point where they got the guy they thought they wanted, only to wake up one day, look to the side and be like, what the hell am I doing here? and why is this man next to me? Like, this is not what I thought I was signing up for. You want to be really careful with playing these games. That's why we don't do that here. So by being yourself, you're able to see who truly connects with you. All right. And you have to be okay with the fact that, yes, you're going to meet men that you may really want, or you may think that you want based on what you're being presented. But if they don't connect with the real you, they can never truly make you happy or pour into your happiness. Because yes, happiness is part of our responsibility, or is our responsibility, but a partner should be able to pour into that happiness. And they can't do that if they can't accept and embrace who you really are. So it's important that you stick with that. But now also in being genuine is, again, you don't want to do things with ulterior motives. You don't want, and it's very easy that even when you're not trying to, it's like sometimes playing games, men and women, is not out of malicious intent. It's not out of I'm trying to hurt them, confuse them, stress them out. It's out of I'm trying to do what I think is going to give me good results. I'm trying to protect myself in the situation. The intention behind it, again, is not some evil thing, but it's still unhealthy and it still leads to bigger problems. So when we're being genuine, we don't play games. We're keeping it real. Again, of course, being yourself, and really being honest about what it is you need in this situation. All right. And again, and let me also say this. I don't think women realize how when you're overdoing it or underdoing it, the good man's going to pick up on that. And it can turn them off. When you're being way too extra, trying too hard, that can be a turn off. And when I say trying too hard, again, not you're being your true self who maybe pours so much into a man. No, you're trying to, in some calculated way, be super extra hoping that it's going to reel him in. That doesn't really work. Or you're holding a lot back, hoping that, well, I don't want to come across thirsty or desperate or whatever, but you're not being true to who you are. And that can also turn him off, because then he might feel like you're not really into him like that. You're not really as engaged as he is. And that's why the safest bet is be you, is be positive, okay? I always say there's a lot of good women, but not a lot of positive women, all right? And that's not to discount the many of you who are positive, but let's face it, some of y'all know some friends, some family members, all right, who, you know, their energy is not the most positive, all right? We're talking about women, of course. And understand that it ain't just with you that you'll experience this with them. They take this into their relationships too. And some of you may be those women. And I don't want you to, feel bad. I just want you to be mindful of it so you can say, okay, let me start changing my vibe, my energy. And for a lot of women, I feel the need to say this, because a lot of women come into the dating process guarded, they don't understand how that ends up projecting negative energy, or that at least hinders their ability to be more positive. And so you gotta address the deeper issues that's creating those walls, but just being mindful of how you talk to that man. How you talk to a man is a very powerful thing. Again, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And when you can learn to deliver that message in a more positive, loving, calm tone, you make things so much better. And again, because women underestimate how often it is for a man to meet the woman who isn't positive, they don't understand the power of being positive. Because to that man, it's like, yo, you immediately separate from the average woman in a lot of guys' eyes. All right. And I mean, if you go on the internet and scour some of these pages, you hear about men complaining about women being too hard and masculine and all these things. And I know some of you, because a lot of those men are delivering those messages in unhealthy ways or attacking manners, it can be hard to receive those things. And that's why I try to give it to you in a way that you can receive it, because there is truth to the fact that many women, for various reasons, are struggling with exuding more positive energy. Now, listen, positivity is important for you, first and foremost, and for every aspect of your life. So I don't even want you to just do it just for the sake of hooking a man in dating. I want you to do it so you can live a better life, period. But yes, it's going to have a very great impact on the guy that you're dating if you really want to fortify this relationship and be able to see it flourish into something amazing. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. Sometimes it can feel like dating really sucks. People playing games. It seems like they have one foot in the door, one foot out the door. The struggle to meet someone who you are compatible with, or even more importantly, have a connection with.